This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. Say please. Could be us. She gotta say please. Say please.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode of the Borito Talk podcast. I am your host, Borito, the #1 CDL ESPN analyst / content creator in the world. And I gotta start off by saying happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians. It is Thanksgiving in Canada. I know. All you Americans are gonna be like, what the heck? It's not November? Yeah, if you didn't know, it's in October. It's not November. And to be honest, I kind of wish it was in November. It kind of makes more sense. There's not really much going on in November, but there's so much going on in October. There's Halloween and everything. And then you want to throw Thanksgiving in there. It is what it is. I mean, it's been like this forever. So, well, why complain about it now? It's not going to change. So, happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Canadians. We're going to talk about rosters today. Don't know if this is going to be an hour episode. I'm not going to wink this time because I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure. There's not enough news, and I didn't watch that Simp podcast on Stay Attached. I was actually going to I didn't realize how much Podcast Attach actually did with so many other people. But he only posts them on YouTube and not on podcast format, so it's really annoying. It's kind of difficult to play YouTube while you're working or doing things because you have to leave your phone open, you know, all the pocket dialing or whatever can happen. So I don't know. We'll try to listen to that whenever we can, but we're going to talk about the rosters today. We're going to talk about more of the rosters today, but before we get into rosters, I played the Black Ops 7 beta. No, this is not my gameplay. I know it's very tough to believe because it looks pretty close, right? It looks pretty close. But this is Shotzi's POV. I just wanted to have some open walls yapping. So I played the Black Ops 7 beta for about an hour and a half. I didn't have much time, like, at all. Played it for an hour and a half. My thoughts: I like the movement. I don't like the maps, and the wall jumping is a little bit, I'm not going to say concern, but it's a little bit unpolished, I would say. Not even a little bit. I think it's more than a little bit unpolished. The wall jumping, if you have assist on or if you don't have assist on, it just seems too sensitive, too inconsistent. Like if you get into like a gunfight, let's say, and you're like jumping backwards and like you're trying to like do like a bunny hop, but there just so happens to be like an inch of you touching like the wall behind you, you end up flying in the air when you don't even mean to. Like there's a lot of accidental wall jumping. I feel like there should be a certain amount of connection before you wall jump. Some that just make it more consistent with what you're actually trying to do. Because there would be nothing worse than getting in a gunfight with a person and then they actually win it because they accidentally wall jumped on you. It just seems very consistent. If you do have assist on for the wall jumping, it's actually even worse. Like you can't go close to any wall. You're just flying off of it. If you just go for like a small little jump shot, you just so happen to be near a wall, like you're popping off of that. So it's actually probably better to just play with wall assist off or have it like sideways only. I tried experimenting on sideways only. It was kind of annoying. Might just have to just play with it off. I think that's probably like the best option. I feel we're going to get bamboozled on the maps, okay? I feel we're going to get bamboozled on the maps. And I think there's an executive reason, not really an executive reason because it's also just storyline and the time frame it's in, so it makes sense why half the maps are in there. I think Raiden Express, it was definitely a tactical decision because it's two guaranteed good maps that are going to be in the rotation no matter what. And no matter how bad the rest of these maps are, we at least have two good maps. Granted, Express is only played for S&D and kept the flag, but I wouldn't be surprised if they even bring it in for ARP when I actually wouldn't be surprised. It's not that bad when it comes to like rotation wise. So but I don't really like where the points are. If you guys know where the points are, like both the points are on both sides spawn, like right in that ticket alley that goes down to like that area where everyone fights like for B-bomb. Like on both sides of those are where the hills are. I don't really like that. And I think it was kind of an executive decision to have those in because these maps, it's pretty much a trend from Black Ops 6. I could see it right away. Everyone's saying Black Ops, like they're way better than Black Ops 6 maps. That is a very low bar. Okay, that is we had Protocol, okay? We had Skyline, which was all right, but not good for anything other than Hardpoint, and it's barely good for Hardpoint. Not really that good a map, so the bar's not that high. So everyone's saying, oh, why are we complaining like the better than Black Ops 6 maps? Very low bar. In terms of it just being a good map, I feel like a lot of these maps are very small and small to a detriment. They're very uneven, unbalanced. Like I talked about Toshin in the last episode before I even played it, and after playing it, it's pretty much exactly what I talked about. That right side of the map, the way they cut off the right side of the map so it's only a train cart hole window you could go through, makes it so that everyone pretty much has to flood through mid. If not, you have to go all around the left side, and it's only like a train way, so it's kind of like a one-way, which is not bad. But the way it cuts back into mid, it doesn't even cut back into mid. It like cuts on the other team's side. It's so weird. Like the balance of that map had the potential to be so good, but I don't know what they did on that right side to just make it even worse. They just ruined that map. That map had potential to be a top map, but they ruined it. And I feel like it's a trend with all these maps. Even the map he's playing right here, Cortex. Super small map. I mean, it's a pub map. It's not going to be in competitive. It's a pub map. Like it can't play for any game mode. Maybe like the Blitz game mode, but I played it in pubs. It was not that great. The spawns for those balls are just not great. It's just not good. This map's just not a competitive map, but it's a pub map, so it is what it is. I don't know, man. We're going to have to see what the other maps, even Forge, not that great. I think Blackheart was like the only good map, and it's small, but it was still probably as balanced as you could get from a map. I feel like the left side of the map is a bit too open, kind of. Like I hate how it like connects with like top mid, so like top mid could see everything on that left side. I don't really like maps like that where you can pretty much see everything on one. It's just not weird. It's just weird. And then that snow map Imprint, I mean, I didn't get the chance to play it, but that's a pub map too for sure. It could probably play for Captive Flag, but we're not going to be playing Captive Flag. Captive Flag would probably be very, very good in this game, I'm not going to lie, but we're probably not going to play it. Yeah, but overall, I mean, the map's going to be good for pubs. I don't know about competitive, though, but I love the movement. That ride-in gun that you get before the Dravek is absolutely terrible. I don't know why they have like a bunch of horrible SMGs. They just have a bunch of horrible guns in the game, but it's like all part of like doing challenges, I guess. That not every gun's good, but that gun was terrible when I used it. And obviously, like the Dryden's like the best SMG in the game. It looks like so far, but we haven't seen the rest of the guns. I don't really like the iron sight on the Dryden. I'm going to be honest. I don't really like it at all, but it's like the best gun. I may consider using it with like a dot sight, but I don't really like using SMGs with a dot sight. I'm more of like an iron sight kind of guy, but I don't really like the iron sight for it. But it seems what everyone's gonna be using, so yeah, it's literally just like the best SMG. I like the variety of ARs. I'm not gonna lie, I like the variety of ARs. Like the M8 after they nerfed it seems pretty legit. You're like 2-3 bursting, like it's very good. Then you have like the M15 as well. And then you have the other AR. It's like kind of like an AN94. Don't even know what it's called. That gun's not bad. I feel like after you put attachments on it, it'll actually be way better. But using it without attachments, it's not that great. So hopefully the pros don't GA everything, because I think there's at least going to be like 3 to 4 viable ARs to use, which will actually make the flex roll be a flex roll. And then as for the SMGs, we're going to have to see the rest of the SMGs. You also have the Peacekeeper as well. I completely forgot about that one, like the hybrid SMG. So we're going to have a lot of variety. A lot of variety when it comes to, they better not ban stuff. I swear, I'm going to be on them so hard if they ban stuff. But in terms of like the gun variety, so the gun variety is good. The movement's good. The wall jumping needs a lot of polish. And the map's not good, but I mean, as long as the gameplay's not, I mean, like the gameplay being good is usually, it was the case last year too. Like I thought the gameplay was pretty good, but like the maps were just not good. So if they keep most of these guns in, if they keep most of the guns in, and the other maps are good, which I don't think, because that was my hot take. I don't think a majority of these maps are going to be good, and we're going to realize it pretty quick. If you take Express and Raid out, the other maps aren't going to be that great. So, I mean, but there's more maps coming in Season 1 as well, so hopefully those ones are good too. But even last year in Black Ops 6, every DLC map they dropped was so small. It's like I'm just playing arcade. It's like I'm just playing like cage match COD 4 maps. It's like they're super small maps. Just makes no sense. But yeah, it's pretty much all I can say about Black Ops 7. Obviously, I came from playing Apex for like the past like month and a half, so like the first couple of games on Black Ops 7 were an experience to say the least. But after you get used to it, you get used to it. But it just reminds you how clunky COD is now compared to other games. Like in other games, I feel like the movement, it just feels like you don't have any extra weight on you. But hopping back on Call of Duty, my character just felt so heavy and clunky with his movements. Maybe because I haven't played COD in like 3 months. But yeah, don't know about the maps. That's like the big thing for me. I think like the gunplay and the gun variety is going to be pretty good. If they keep streaks in and everything, all that will be good. So that's all I can really say about the Black Ops 7 Bay. I only played it for an hour and a half. I only played like 2 maps, I feel. I played Blackheart. Forge, and Exposure. And I'm pretty sure that was it. But anyways, we're going to get into the roster talk here, get off Shotsies, and we are going to get into the Toronto Ultra first. As I take a sip of my water. Hold on, I got to do it again. Some good Canadian water here. So, the Toronto Ultra have officially revealed their starting lineup for the upcoming Black Ops 7 season, locking in a roster that blends established chemistry with international firepower. Joe Deceives and Kleenex will headline the team, both remaining under contract after impressive showings last season. The duo has proven to be one of the most dynamic SMG pairings in the league, bringing consistent pressure and elite teamwork that Toronto is eager to build around. Returning to the fold is Jamie Insight, who rejoins the starting lineup after briefly entering restricted free agency. A mainstay of Ultra since Cold War in 2021, Insight's return brings veteran leadership and the steady AR presence that will help unlock the best format of Kleenex in the flex position. Completing the lineup is Spanish standout Real, whose signing comes after a contract saga with the Miami Heretics that saw the Spaniard head north. His addition gives Ultra a high ceiling talent with the potential to elevate their slaying power. With this finalized roster, Joe Deceives, Kleenex, Insight, and Riel, the Ultra have built a lineup capable of fighting the top teams for contending status. The mix of familiarity, experience, and fresh talent positions Toronto as one of the more balanced and intriguing teams to watch heading into the Black Ops 7 season. That is an article from Easy Mac on GG Breaking Point. What do we think? Okay, my opinion is going to be pretty like back and forth. You're probably going to think I'm confused, but trust me, I'm not confused. Okay, on paper, the roster looks great. Okay, Joe Deceives, Real, Kleenex, Insight, even just the trio of Joe Deceives, Kleenex, Real is great. There's a couple problems I have, but they're also going to be saved by some positives. I'm going to start with like the positives first. Joe Deceives, Real, and Kleenex. What a trio. Obviously, Real's not an SMG, so we're going to get a Joe and Real SMG duo, which I think will actually be great, especially to Ultra's S&D. Like, their S&D was all right, but now having like the type of player Real is, who's kind of like a roaming player. I mean, watching him play in like the 6v6s, I mean, I was not that convinced with Granite. 6v6 way different. He's a lot more the island player, like the flanking player, and Joe's a lot more direct, so I think it'll be great. And now with Kleenex moving to a flex, being as fast as he is, I feel it's going to give him that wanted pace and that pressure that they've needed from that second AR, which makes Jamie's position on the team a lot more I'm not going to say valuable, a lot more valid. Having Kleenex with his pace as an AR, I mean, you're just going to have 3 players there that have a great dynamic and insight to kind of, quote unquote, as they say, the very cliche, hold it all together. So, with positives, very good dynamic. In Respawn, that looks like a very good dynamic. In S&D, I feel their S&D got way better just bringing Real on. And Real makes a lot of good plays on the island play. I feel he's up there with Hydra in terms of like mastering timings of flanks and being an annoyance. And Real being an annoyance in respawns and S&Ds, while Joe and Kleenex are being super direct on the other side or somewhere around. I feel that dynamic is great. That dynamic's great. The negative also is Kleenex on a flex. Not because I think it's bad. I think he's going to be good. But I value him so high as an SMG. Like, Kleenex as an SMG, I mean, I can't throw on top 3s, top 4s because there's like Hydra, BZ, Simp, you know, those. But he's at least top 5. Simp, Hydra, Joe, Abizi, he's right there. He's like right there after them, if not close to them. Like, he's right there. He is like a top 5 SMG in the league, and he is such a good SMG. If you watch his arrow, he's such a smart player. Kleenex, I have nothing but, obviously, you know, like there's times where he can't make mistakes, but everyone's prone to mistakes. But more often than not, he is such a good player. He's so smart. You watch his arrow, he knows exactly what's going on. He knows what to do, his timings, everything, like the positions that he holds, the reading of pressure. Pretty much almost has every good aspect that an SMG needs, like, to be good in Respawn at this game. He's so good as an SMG, like so good as an SMG, and moving such a good SMG. It's one thing if you're moving like a Purge. Let's say you're moving a Purge, no disrespect to Purge because I'm high on Purge as well. It's one thing you're moving him to an AR. Yeah, he's a good SMG, but it's not like he was like a top 5 SMG in the league, you know? So moving him to like a flex, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But you're moving like a top 5 SMG to like a flex. Like, you know? But I feel like that's the issue Ultras had, and I feel like that's why they made this move, because it's so hard to find a good flex like a Merc who's so fast and so interactive on the map that just makes everyone around him better. They don't, that's not really available. All these like challengers, all these free agents, so curious why they're not getting on teams, bro, because you're all slow. You're all fucking slow. And you got people moving top SMGs to the flex role because barely any UARs could even move on the map, and that's why you're not getting to the league. Like, they're moving, Gwyn's moving to a flex, Kleenex moving to a flex. We got like top SMG players moving to a flex because most of you players that are playing with the AR can't move fast enough and don't do enough on the map. You're too slow and not as impactful. That's why you're not getting picked up. So I don't really like Kleenex moving to a flex because of how good he is as an SMG, but I understand it. And just from that dynamic, I think it's going to work out extremely well. Like you heard Joe say in interviews, like Kleenex switching to a flex, he's already better than pretty much almost every flex switching. Seeing Kleenex with like an AR looks very weird. I don't really like it. I love him so much as an SMG, but I know just the pace that he brings, because it's all about pace at the end of the day, and that's what a lot of these ARs that I just talked about just don't bring. And him with the pace as an AR, and then, I mean, you just have a good trio, right? That's a good solid trio right there that could actually win shit. Joe, Real, And Kleenex, that's a trio that could win shit. Also a trio that could also like collapse as well. But yeah, and then you have Insight to bring it all together because, there's just not that many good many hours on like so they had, and that's my other negative is them bringing Insight back again. When you watch Atlanta FaZe, now known as FaZe Vegas, you watch them break up their long-standing trio that's been together, the long-standing duo, their duo and trio that's been together for over half a decade, at the top of their game, always top of the standings, placing, getting championships every year, except for Vanguard. And they finally decide, yeah, we're going to break up because it's not good enough. And then you see Insight and Kleenex still stick together, even though, they weren't technically sticking together. Kleenex was on the team. Insight was just like on like the back burner. And then they brought him back, so they're basically still sticking together. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting like a different result. Granted, they've had some good placings. They've had some championships in the past. You could argue it's because of scrap. But I think it was just time to make a change. It was time for something really fresh. Like, they already brought freshness in by bringing in Real, switching Kleenex to a flex. You might as well just go all the way and bring in another AR. And I was convinced they were going to bring in a Mamba or like a Neum. That's what I thought they were going to do. But then they end up bringing Insight back again. Insight on Twitter saying, I got to prove people wrong. I have to. Yeah, buddy, you do have to. Because, after this year, if it does not fly again, there's no way you're getting back on this team. There's no way. There's no way. And there's not been many people that have been as high on Insight as me. So this is coming from me, who's super high on Insight. I even made a whole video called I forgot what it was called, something intangibles, and just talking about what Insight brings. Like, a lot of people think he's slow, but there's so much that he brings. But when things aren't going their way, he looks like the most useless player on the map, and that's just how it is. He needs to do more, to be involved more. He needs to study that. Like, I feel a lot of players, a lot of ARs, they need to study Optic after Major Force. Study Optic from Champs and EWC. Watch their hardpoint. Watch the dynamic that Merc and Dashy have. It's not like they're together all the time, but look at the pace dynamic that they have. How Merc is super interactive. Dashy is fast enough that he's not useless, but he's slow enough to pick up things that need to be watched, or hold the preems that need to be watched, holding lanes down that need to be watched. He's slow. He's slow. No, he's fast enough, but not slow. He's fast enough, but not too slow. I guess that's what I was trying to say. And that dynamic, I feel a lot of players need to study that, but a lot of players don't study other players. I don't know why, and see what's working. So that's also another confusing thing, to be honest, as I take another sip of my water. I'm sorry. Well, I hate that air, but I gotta take a sip of my water. All right, so I do like the dynamic, though. I do like the dynamic. I'm not quite sure about Insight. There was a lot of other fresh options. I thought they're just gonna go all the way, and I saw them playing with Mamba, so I was thinking, oh, maybe they actually maybe it's. And I knew that Joe had the keys, so I was thinking Joe's probably gonna take a chance on a Challengers player that he knew that was up and coming. They thought was going to be great. So I thought it was going to be like a Neum or a Mamba. I thought he was going to take a chance on one of them. So I was like, hell yeah. But I'm thinking the reason why they didn't get Mamba is because Mamba wanted to play with Craze, and maybe they got an opportunity to play together on another team. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see if that actually happens. And we're going to get more to Mamba and all of them later. But the dynamic of Ultra, I actually really do enjoy. I just got question marks about Insight because he has a very high ceiling. I've seen him win some ridiculous gunfights. For the most part, he's a very smart player, but sometimes it just can be too slow. And I feel like Optic at Champs and EWC showed the new age of playing that's going to be pretty much, I'm not going to say unstoppable, because Optic was still very susceptible to losing some of those hard points. But yeah, you just have to play faster. These games are a lot more faster. I'm not saying everyone has to run around. There does need to be some slow preemping. There has to be people on the team. Not everyone can play at the same pace, but they do have to kind of match each other's tempo in some sort of way. If your teammates are playing fast, you can play slow, but there's a slow to where you're in the areas where you need to be. You're in the right spots to where you're being slower, but you're still being useful to match like the tempo of the other players on your team, if that makes sense. I think that's some insight needs to work on, especially with the players now that he has around him. They got even faster. They don't have Beans, who's a lot slower in AR, so it's not going to be too slow AR. So I think that trio is probably just going to hard carry a lot. Honestly, you got 3. That is such a good trio. Like, I can't even lie. Insight, Real, and Kleenex is such a good trio. It's such a good trio. But yeah, I'm always like, Insight should be a sub. Dude, this Fruit Fly is just on my... Fruit Fly is always on my monitor and shit. I don't know. It's annoying. Anyways, yeah, so that's Ultra. We'll see how they do in the Black Ops 7 season. Will they win an event? We will get more into that. We'll get more into that in later episodes. But I do love that trio, though. And I already knew the trio was there. I just was waiting on the main AR. But I was like, man, they're probably just going to bring Insight back again because I don't see Insight on another team. It's just hard to see Insight on another team. So I guess he's back again. He's just a franchise Ultra player. And Ultra is Ultra. Like, they're not coy. Maybe that might change. Who knows? But very, very interesting. And now we're going to get into Vancouver Surge. And this Vancouver Surge is going to go into ROKKR, which is going to go into like the Mamba Talk. So we're going to chain this one till the end. Will it go 35 minutes? Probably not. So we probably won't hit an hour episode, but we'll see. So, sources. Vancouver Surge usher in a new era under Coach Atara. So this is from Ronnie Intel on the GG Breaking Point website. The Vancouver Surge are entering a new chapter under the leadership of Ricky Atara, the former Florida Mutineers head coach who guided his squad to 3 event wins during the MW19 season. After a strong run in Challenger Circuit last year, Atara now gets another shot at the top level as he looks to rebuild Vancouver this offseason. That rebuild restarts with bold roster moves. The Surge are set to welcome Lqgend, a standout French Halo MVP making the transition to Call of Duty following the conclusion of the HCS season, a path previously taken by stars like Shotzi, Formal. Yeah. Joining him is Gwyn, the Royal Ravens Rookie of the Year runner-up who turned down offers from 2 other CDL teams to link up with Lqgend in Vancouver. Sources confirm that Gwyn would move to the flex position if needed, giving the roster good flexibility. Working alongside Atara, the duo helped recruit Abe, the former Toronto Ultra rookie who made a name for himself at the EWC with an impressive third-place finish. While Abe has previously rumored to be in talks with Cloud9, all signs now point him joining Surge. To round out the roster, Vancouver are targeting veteran AR to anchor the lineup. No, wait, holy cow. To round out the roster, Vancouver are targeting a veteran AR to anchor the lineup. While Sky's a familiar face from Artura's Mutineer days was initially on the shortlist, he's expected to remain committed to Minnesota ROKKR. Instead, the team's attention has shifted to Lunars, a player known to Atara, Gwyn, and Abe. Despite a mixed debut season, Lunars has shown flashes of top-tier potential and could thrive under new structure. So, they went from targeting a veteran AR to ending up with fucking Lunars. Oh my god. Holy cow. Okay. Where do we start? Okay, where do we start? Okay, where do we start, guys? I'm going to pull up my tweet real quick. Cause it's the only thing I know how to do after I'm going to go off my tweet. So I said, commenting on this Surge roster, I'm super worried about Abe's stock this year because this team looks bad. I can't even talk. I'm so sorry. I'm going to start that one over. Super worried about Abe's stock this year because this team looks bad. 75% good individual players, but as a whole, bad. Very bad. With every rumored surge roster I've heard, I thought it couldn't get worse. They have proved me wrong. And this is from Burrito on Twitter, aka me. So, what do I think about this roster? Man. Man, where do I start, man? Where do I start? It's so funny because there's positives and there's negatives. Okay. Let's start with like the positives, okay? Let's start with the positives. Taking a chance on Lqgend. Anyone complaining about it? I don't care. I don't even hear that stuff. That stuff's annoying. We've seen how Halo players who are like some at the top and some just very good have transitioned over to Call of Duty and done better than people that have been playing for a long time, like Shotzi, like Formal, like Hook as well, but Hook was in COD first, so it doesn't really count. So we have seen players. He's a winner. He knows how to win. He's been a world champion in Halo. And just knowing how to win, knowing what it takes to win, being on those high-pressure situations, that already puts you above like 75% of players in the CDL who've never won and who have never been even close to a grand final and know what that pressure feels like and knows what it takes to get over the hump against other good players and have the composure and just the X factor to win. So he's already above pretty much 75%, 80, if not 90% of the players in the league. So I like that they're taking a chance on Lqgend. That's a good positive. I like on paper, I like Lqgend, Gwyn, and Abe. It sounds like just like three young, hungry, skillful players. Like that's what that sounds like. It sounds like a nice, youthful, energetic team that will grind and will like maybe make stuff happen, but I don't think so. So on paper, it sounds good. So that's another positive. Okay, that's another positive. So that's like my two positives. Now let's get into the negatives. And I'm going to take a sip of water before this one. Where do I start with the negatives? I mean, I talked about it in like a YouTube short, but I mean, it is what it is. How Lqgend needs to stay away from Gwyn. That's no disrespect to Gwyn. I think Gwyn is a super skilled player. I've watched him play individually, even watching what Envoy said about him. He's not playing for the win. I went back and watched that game, by the way. That Envoy said he was not playing for the win, and I didn't think Gwyn did anything wrong in that game. He did nothing wrong in that game. I just feel like from all of his POV, like you just see another person on the other team doing good when you're smoking them, and you just assume that they're playing bad. But he actually was, and he was actually doing his thing. A very good player. Gwyn's a very good player. But it's just not the type of players that Lqgend needs around him, okay? It's not the type of players that Lqgend needs around him. And I'm going to be going pretty back and forth all over the place with these negatives, by the way. So you got Zuma on Twitter. I'm not sure if I even have it. No, I don't have it here. But Zuma talking about how he liked the Atora pickup for like him being a head coach and everything. Okay, so we're gonna get into Atora real quick because I don't know that much about him, but from this article, he guided his team to 3 wins in the MW19 season. All those were online. I remember that, but that was a pretty good. That's a pretty good team though. That was a pretty good team in MW19. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good team. Havoc, Frosty, I think Awakening like was on there too, so it was like a really good team. I actually kind of liked it, and like they actually did pretty good. Okay, anyways, I don't know what I was on about. So let's take a look at Atora's history as a coach. Okay, so 2019, he got into the Mutineers on that team with Frosty, Havoc, Mox, Pristini, Skies. They obviously got Awakening at some point that season. Then he was added to the substitute roster in 2020, but that was like basically the exact same year as MW19. And then he left as the Mutineers coach like the following year in Cold War, September 3rd. And I think he was in Challengers for a while. Yeah, so he was like the head coach in Challengers for 2022 on Team War EU. And then he was a coach for College COD 2023 ODU. And then 2024, he was the coach of Lore Gaming. And then he left Lord Gaming after like 2 months. Holy cow. And then he became the coach of Omit Brooklyn on October 24th. And that's the team of two real fellow Mercules and Neptune. And they had some success earlier in Challengers. And then near the end of the year, he's still the coach of Omit Brooklyn. And that Omit Brooklyn team ended up being Brack, Prolute, Standy, Yuli, who ended up making it to the Champs Grand Finals. So that's his coaching history. I don't know him as a coach, but I don't know him at all. Okay. I don't know him at all. He's pretty tenured, has a lot of years. But something I'm trying to understand is what people classify as like a good coach. I hear people say some people are good coaches, but then you look at like the results and you look at like the progress of the players on certain teams. Like if you want to talk about Looney, for example, going to go back to Looney. A very good player in his day, a very brilliant Call of Duty mind. And I think just because of those things, people are just going to say automatically he would make a good coach. He is a good coach. And then you see like the results and you see how the players are playing. And that's the stuff that makes you question if a coach is actually a good coach. Because obviously some people just aren't coachable. You could tell players a million things and they just won't listen. Or they don't know how to implement things in a game. And then you hear players going to interviews. Oh, yeah, we just have to like replicate our practice into the actual games. We're working hard. We're practicing. And then you see the same shit. Same shit over again. What are you practicing, homie? I want to know. So what do you classify as a good coach? And will he be like the coach that could get the best out of Lqgend, who's just now getting into Call of Duty? Not saying he can't play Call of Duty, but there's like certain intangibles, certain small things that like the top players have that the others do not. And are these players on the team of Gwyn, Abe, and Lunars going to be able to teach him? Lunars, okay? There's players like Neum, there's players like Prolute, there's players like Standy, there's players like Exceed, there's players like Yuli, like good players who have performed way better than Lunars, no offense, and they're still not getting another chance. And you saw the year that Lunars had. Granted, he came into LAG, a pretty bad team, but you're an AR too. Take that into account. So, you know, there is a certain threshold of like how bad you could do until like it's just like, yeah, like you're just like a bad AR. Because it's like you had Johnny as well. Like, you had like Johnny and Kismet. So it's like you had a pretty good SMG duo. So if you actually kind of like held your own as an AR, you know, probably could have, you know, things probably could have went a bit better. And he just did not have a good time in the league. And I'm shocked. I mean, I'm not entirely shocked. And I'm not entirely mad about it too, because it's also annoying seeing players get put into bad environments and not get other chances. They just get kicked right back out and they have to crawl their way back out. So from that POV, I kind of appreciate how he's just able to get right back in and be given another chance on a better team from the beginning. I'm not even going to say a better team, but like just on a team again. And this time having from the very beginning, starting at ground zero as everybody else. So that's cool. But you want to know what's not cool? This roster. This roster is not cool. I sort of like the Abe, Gwyn, and Lqgend dynamic because I talk about Abe, and I think like in a couple, 3-4 years, however long, 3 years, like let's say 2-3 years, he'll be like a top 5 SMG in the league. And I'm just curious if teams like this are going to stunt his growth or help him get better. And I think they're going to like stunt his growth because it's like, I'm glad he's getting into the league. So that's another good thing. And I mean, I always like talk about it. It's like at the end of the day, we're playing a fucking video game and everyone's playing everyone starts at the same time. So if you're just as bad as the other teams, it just means like you just fucking suck. I mean, obviously, even like in sports, some players are just naturally gifted, naturally better than other players. But at the end of the day, if you're a pro Call of Duty player, you're playing against other pro Call of Duty players playing the exact same amount of time as you. So if you can't make it work and they can, then you're probably just not good enough. And I could use the excuse of the roster's not good enough, but these are all players that think that they could do better. Lunas has a lot to prove in the AR role. Lqgend now gonna have to come in, prove that he deserves a spot from just fucking straight getting it from free, not having to go into challenges at all. But I love that. And then Gwyn, a superstar player on his other teams, but his other teams just didn't do well. So players are questioning his playstyle. Even Shotzi questioning his playstyle. And so everyone's going to be on that when you critique that. And Abe, who was just trying to prove himself, prove that he could be like a top SMG in the league. So yeah, players with a lot to prove. But, my favorite word, but, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't like the Lunars pick. And I know there's been some players that are high on him. I'm curious how the dynamic's going to go because some people are saying he's like a slower AR. He's meant to be a slower AR. And if Gwyn goes to a flex, is Gwyn going to be sort of like a kill Hori AR who's like kind of slow, or is he actually going to play with good pace? Because usually what you would think when an SMG switches to an AR, they're going to be faster because they already are supposed to have like the fast tendency of being an SMG going to an AR. But we've seen players like Attach switch to an AR and they just go on the opposite end of the spectrum. They just get absolutely quicksand slow, cannot move at all. And I feel like that might be Gwyn, because I think when SMG players are transitioning over to an AR, they're trying to they instantly have the mentality, okay, if I'm an AR, I just have to play slower, I have to pre-aim more. And I think they just think that way, so then it just makes them play even slower than they think that they should play, because they think that the role of an AR is like to pre-aim more. So in turn, pre-aiming more, they're not realizing that they're actually playing a lot slower than they actually should be. And I just don't. I like that dynamic of Abe and Lqgend as SMGs, because I don't think Legend's going to be an AR player. If he ends up being a flex, I mean, that'd be pretty cool too. I'm not going to lie. That'd be pretty cool. But he just strikes me as someone that's going to be an SMG player because of like his movement, how young he is, whenever like you're young and you got movement, you're usually an SMG player. So I'd say it's him and Abe as the SMG duo, which I think is great because Abe just has like a lot of pace. He's very direct. He's like a lot less routes, a lot more direct, like a Joe and like other players. So I like that. So that dynamic's good. A Gwyn and Lunar's AR duo. That just sounds absolutely terrible. On paper and in game. That dynamic sounds absolutely terrible. Once again, I hope they prove me wrong. I always love to be proved wrong. I would want to see every team be good in the CDL because I'm tired of seeing burgers. I would love to see every team be good. I would love to see that. But a Gwyn and Lunar's AR duo sounds absolutely terrible. Scrap and Kenny are licking their lips. Draza and Abuza licking their lips. Merc and Dashy are throwing a party, kicking their feet up going against that team, going against that AR duo. They are thriving. They are thriving. Teams are rubbing their hands together like Birdman for this duo. Like, they are ready for this. They are ready for this. And I just don't like the dynamic. And I'm not sure because I don't know the coach. But like a lot of people are going to say he's a good coach, but I don't know. But I don't feel like the coach is going to get like the best out of them. Like I've seen coaches like Looney, accuracy, not get the best out of these players. Crowder, not be able to get the best out of FaZe. What is Ricky Atora going to do? That's where my head is at. No disrespect, but I'm Clayster. 3-time world champion. One of the best main ARs of all time. Can't get that Falcons roster to do nothing. Can't get Pred to even switch his playstyle a tad bit. So what is Ricky Atora going to do on this team? Unless every player on this team listens to what everyone says and they play as a unit, I don't have a hope in hell for this team. This is going to be like a 9 through 12 team. But this is good for Challengers players. This team is good for Challengers players because if you're a Challengers player, you're looking at this team and you're thinking this is going to be a team I could get on. Especially since now they're switching their location to Dallas, so that's good. But they're still going to be called like Vancouver Surge, which is annoying. Gonna be all the way in Dallas. But if I'm a Challengers player, I'm licking my lips because after stage 1, you might be able to get right onto this team. I'm not gonna lie, you might be able to get right onto this team. Lunars is free picking. If you're like a main AR, I would start locking in right now. Like, be the best main AR you could be fast, show presence, make impact on the map. That's a spot you could take right away. Even Gwen's spot's not safe. Like, I don't think anyone's spot is safe except for Legend. They're probably going to give him more of a grace period. So, if you're a Challengers player, I mean, hey, you know, take the whole stage 1 to get good at the game, and you could slot right into the league on this team, I'm telling you. But yeah, I'm just not convinced by this team. I was in the car in between places at work, and I open my phone and I see this roster on my phone, and I'm just kind of like I almost took it personally. I was like, come on, man. Like, it was just such a groan. What is this team? What is this? Just come on, man. I'm just it's so bad. That's what I was thinking. I was just this is just pathetic. I can't believe people put this shit together. That's what I was thinking. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see, but I have no. It's man, now I'm thinking this is gonna be. This team might bump the Falcons up. I'm not gonna lie. I can't wait till I see the rest of the bottom team so I can see who's gonna be my 9th through 12th. But I'm gonna put this team in the 9th through 12th spot for sure. And yeah, that's Vancouver. I guarantee there's probably gonna be more I have to say about that team, but I'm gonna think about it after I'm done the podcast because that happens a lot. Usually, whenever I finish the podcast, I'm like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, but then I end up not. As I take more sips from my water, I'm sorry, it's a solo episode here on the Borito Talk podcast, and we're not gonna be taking any breaks, but I do have a pretty cool announcement coming probably by the next episode of the Borito Talk podcast, so we'll hear about it then. So we're going to be getting into the Minnesota ROKKR now. A completely different roster from the last time that we talked, but let's get into this. This is from Ronnie Intel once again on GG Breaking Point, and he says, the Minnesota ROKKR are closing in on Paul Mamba to round out their starting lineup for the Black Ops 7 season. The move comes after the team's initial target, Gwyn, opted to join Vancouver Surge, forcing ROKKR to pivot in search of a new flex player to complement the trio of Kremp, Estriel, and Skies. Mamba's name quickly rose to the top of their list after his breakup performance at the Esports World Cup, where he helped the MIT eliminate Atlanta FaZe. This shocking upset ultimately contributed to the breakup of one of Call of Duty's most dominant cores. His aggressive playstyle and clutch instincts have made him one of the most sought out after young talents in the scene. Hard to believe when you end up on ROKKR. Amid roster uncertainty, Skies, Minnesota's target for veteran AR, also drew interest from Vancouver. However, sources indicate he intends to stay the course and will officially re-sign with ROKKR for the upcoming season. With Skies anchoring the lineup and Mamba expected to slot in as the final piece, Minnesota looks to have a solid foundation heading into Black Ops 7. Head coach Looney will remain at the helm for another season, tasked with turning this promising roster into a true contender. After an up and down year, the franchise hopes this iteration can finally deliver the consistency and results that have long eluded them. All right, what do we think about this roster? The Minnesota ROKKR, Gwyn, Kremp, Estriel. Wait, no, hold on. Whoops, I messed that up. Kremp, Estriel, Skies, and Mamba. What do we think about that roster? I'll tell you what I think. It's actually not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's like I said in the last episode when it came to ROKKR, it looks a good roster, but I just don't think they're going to do good. I don't know why. I'm very high on Kremp. For some reason, I'm not as high on Estriel for some reason, even though I've seen he has a high ceiling in there somewhere, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take it to get exercised. But Kremp, Estriel, I don't know about that. I like the Mamba and Skies more. That's a good dynamic. Like, a lot of people doubted Skies after like the year he had, being a lot slower, but he kind of felt like he had to do that on his team. But now, after seeing like what Merc did, he probably was like, yeah, shit. But I do like Mamba and Skies. I always thought Mamba was like the main AR, but I guess that was Reese, I guess. I actually thought that was Reese. Anyways, it's gonna be like the faster AR, that's fine. I kind of wanted Mamba and Krace to be together. And this is what's going to lead me into this thing. So, a Methods on Twitter said, how teams didn't prioritize getting Mamba and Krace together is beyond me. And I'm not going to lie, I actually agree with that. Because, and before I actually talk about that, it's going to lead me into my other point where Mamba in Zumba's chat talked about how the Emit team of him, Kraze, Mac, and Vivid tried sticking together, but CDL teams did not want them. And I hear Zuma and I hear some other people saying that's a big mistake. They should have tried to pick up the roster. I am actually on the side of the orgs. As good as that team that was in Challengers, I don't think that was going to resonate into the league. I would have thought I thought that was going to be another Boston from MW3 going into Black Ops 6. Granted, it was like a trio, but they had like the Cammy, Awakening, Purge trio, and then they joined Snoopy. So it was like basically like a team that was in Challengers, like that did pretty well. And then they joined into a CDL as that same team. And they had some good stints, but overall they didn't do that well. And they got knocked out like before champs anyway. So it's kind of like, and I felt like this team probably would have been the exact same, but this team would have been better. I mean, Kraze, Mamba, and Mac, just that trio. I feel like that team could hit hard. But I feel like other teams probably would have just overpowered them. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I do like the idea of Mamba and Kraze sticking together, but I don't like the idea of them for all together sticking together. I think that's a really good Challengers team, but in the CDL, I think there needed to be other pieces mixed into that. I'm not sure if that's just me. So I do agree with a Method's point, but not so much everyone else's point on the whole roster sticking together, because I think orgs would be thinking, okay, like, we're picking up this whole Challengers team, but there's still like some good individual pieces left on the market, so why would we do that? Like, I know you guys won in Challengers, but there's some good pieces that we could integrate with certain individuals out of you guys. So I feel like that's what CDL rosters were thinking, and I completely agree with that aspect of it. I don't think this team would have translated into anything special in the league. If anything, it would have been like a friendship team, honestly. I gotta stop talking so fast. It would have been a friendship team that just kind of like, they're doing bad, but they're not going to make a roster change. So then, like, other players and Challengers aren't going to get a chance because they're kind of pretty much taking up the spot the same way Boston did. They just stuck together the whole year because they're friends. You know, they had the vibes. They didn't want to break that up. Almost like the ROKKR with Paul X, but eventually they caved in. You know, exact same energy. I did not want that, so I kind of like how they split them up. But I do feel like Mamba and Kraze look like an actual duo. And I'm not going to put them on the same level as Abizi and Simp, but, you know, I mean, they did take them down, though. I feel like them as a duo is a very good, energetic duo that could have made some moves. But now seeing Mamba on ROKKR, I'm kind of like, oh, man, he should have went out of his way to try to stick with Kraze and not so much the whole team. He should have had talks with Kraze and been like, hey, it's me and you, but if the other two can't come, like, I mean, it is what it is, but we just need to be like us two and try to just like do it that way. And if like we can't get us two, then I guess we just got to split. But they should have just did that, but I don't know. I don't know what the talks were like. But I do agree with like the fact, honestly, I would not have wanted to pick up all four of them. No offense. But yeah, what do I think about the team? It's a team with potential, but obviously they're just not going to win anything. There's just like way better teams that are way ahead of them. But I do, Kremp and Estriel seems like it could be very inconsistent. Like, I'm very high on Kremp. I talked about him like potentially being like a top 5, 6, 7, 8 SMG player in the league in the future. I think he has a very high ceiling. He has a pretty good understanding of Call of Duty. I mean, there's a lot of inconsistency. There's a lot of bad plays. There's a lot of brain dead stuff going on. But I think overall, he has a very good presence on the map. He's a very confident player. He's not afraid to make plays. He has a very high ceiling when he's actually like about it. He could perform. He could play multiple different ways. He could be more direct. He could be more the route taker. Like, I feel like he has a lot to his game as an SMG player. He honestly could actually even benefit from switching to a flex, but I'm not sure if he would. But I actually do think he has a very high ceiling, and he's very good at S&D too. I think his control kind of lacks. I mean, like a lot of players' control lacks, but who knows if control is going to be the third game mode. Definitely needs to work on his slang a bit more. I feel like that's something he needs to work on, but when a lot of players work on slang, they end up getting slower. And, slow is just not good these days. Slow ends up compromising your team a lot more. But in terms of this roster as a whole, I saw what Looney did last year, and I'm just not convinced. Just not convinced. It's not convinced. If I could get like Skies from like Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 or like those old games, if I could get like that Caesar Skies Bueno back, this looks like a whole different team. I'm not going to lie. This looks like a whole different team. All depends on Skies a lot. Obviously, the SMGs are going to have to perform. I think they're going to be good, though. I feel like their S&D is going to be interesting. I feel like they're going to win a lot of S&D games because I feel like Kremp and Estro both have like that ratty, like that S&D style. Like they got that S&D style to them. It's all about how they're going to perform and respawn because I saw how Estro was playing with ROKKR last year, and Looney is also a part of that because he was like the coach. Very bad. Very, very bad. A very inconsistent way of playing hardpoint like a lot of the times, but I feel like a lot of times they had stuff down. Like there was a lot of times ROKKR was playing very good hardpoint, but then a lot of times like they weren't. So it was like very back and forth. They showed stints of good hardpoint play and then showed stints of probably like the worst hardpoint that you could get. So on that aspect, I think having Kremp helps because it's a player that knows how to take space on the map and not be iron boots whenever you get kills. So I think that's going to help a lot more. I probably would have liked this team way better with Gwyn. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Probably would have liked them better with Gwyn, but let's see what Mamba does. I don't really have a player profile on Mamba. I'm probably going to have to watch some. I'm going to have to watch some of his videos, to be honest. I'm going to have to watch some old gameplay from Mamba. It's definitely something I have to do. Because I need to get more of a read on him. I'm not gonna pretend like I know how he plays. I only watched him play like the COD Champs Grand Finals, but I was more focused on Craze because he's just running around, running it down, and the phase match. That's pretty much what I watched of him. But I want to go back and watch some more and do some due diligence. Might make a YouTube video out of it. But as a whole, I'm not convinced because of the coaching staff and because a lot of these players who had high potential kind of went lackluster last year. So overall, I mean, this roster is just. I'm just like on the fence. I'm just gonna say that they're gonna do bad. I think the composition definitely could have been better. It's like, and it's always like this. It seems to be like this with like the bottom half of the league. Like the players aren't necessarily bad. But the way that they're put together just seems off. That's basically the best way I could describe it. It's like not bad player. I'm not like, Kremp's bad, Estrel's bad, Sky's bad. It's like, how do I think they're going to play together? That's where I'm like, I'm not convinced. I'm just not convinced. I feel if you put Craze in this team, if it was Mamba, Craze, Estrel, and Skies, that could have been like a different conversation. Because you have like some chemistry there. It's almost like FIFA Ultimate Team where you're putting some chemistry together and then you're mixing with some other stuff. That could have been even better. But I do think Kremp should be in the league though. So I just don't know how Kremp and Estro are going to play with each other. I know they were playing in like the S&D 12s like together, but that's just like small sample size. But I don't think they're good enough of an SMG duo yet to get over that hump. I feel like they need better players around them just to get overall better, They need better players around them, like winning players around them in order to get better. But when they're playing with players around like their level that haven't done anything, I feel like it creates like some sort of a wall with like the progress they could actually make. That's what I feel. And you could say Attach and Dante. Obviously, like Attach is like a very tenured player. That's one, but recently not as good. And then you have Dante, very good player, but he's not the type of player that's going to like make players around him better. I don't know, especially like in recent times. In MW3, I mean MW3 was like literally the previous year, but that was on an NYSL team where he's joining an already put together systems. That's a little bit different. But in terms of him being on his own, he's not just gonna like be that player that like helps others around him get better. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what Kremp and Estriel need, because they've been pretty much the whole time they've been in the league, they've been playing with like other challenger players, other players around like their like skill level, not really playing with any like over the top better players. So they're not really seeing what true greatness is around them. I don't know. But yeah. And then yeah, so we talked about the Emit team not getting put together. Fuck Tough Cookies. Tough Cookies sticking together. CDL didn't want them together. Okay. There's another thing I was gonna. So Craze. Hopefully he actually gets on a team too. So I'm gonna pull up this thing from Tactical Rab. He has what the rosters kind of look like right now, and it's all 12 of them. So obviously we know like the top 4 teams. We know the Gentleman's team. We see the Koi team now that Insight's on it. So Cloud9 New York now looks like Beans, Afro, Mac, and Vivid. Interesting, but I don't know about that. I like Afro and Mac though. I actually do like Afro and Mac. I don't know about the AR duo, and that's like the question a lot of these teams are gonna have. Their AR duos on a lot of these teams, I don't even know. I literally don't even know. That AR duo is so unconvincing. It's gonna make the SMG players look way worse. It's almost like LAG. Like LAG had Kismet and Johnny, and that's like that's a pretty good SMG duo. But they're tied with Fellow and Lunars. I'm sorry, there's a fruit fly around. Why are you around me? Why is this fruit fly around me? What do you want from me? Yeah, sorry, my African came out there. Yeah, but I don't like the Beans and Vivid. I don't know. I'm just very low on Beans after last year. Like, let's just say that I'm very low on them. And then obviously Nasty, and then that Carolina Royal Ravens spot, that's going to help like this out a lot. That Carolina Royal Ravens is going to be interesting. Because obviously I think they gave their spot to like another team, so we're going to have to wait to see on that. But if Slasher's still on that team, that's impressive out of him. Still being able to finesse his way into a roster just shows you there's a mass shortage of ARs, I can tell you that. They should definitely look into Neum or Pro Looters, something like that. But they get Craze, that's good too. Craze and Nero actually kind of sounds interesting. That sounds like a pace fucking team right there. That could actually work. All depends who their ARs are. That sounds like a way better team for Mamba. That team looks way better. Craze, Mamba, Slasher, and Nero. That sounds way better. You have the pace of the ARs. You have a pacey AR in Mamba. And then you have Slasher. That's actually like really good. And Slasher's not really like a slow AR. That looks way better than the team that Mamba's going to end up on. That looks way better. That's crazy. I think Mamba, if he has an opportunity to play with Craze on like that 12th team, he should actually go do that. That looks like a way better team than like the ROKKR team. You should let Geo join ROKKR, I guess. Like, just fucking let that happen. That sounds way better. But it just made me wonder what a lot of these bottom teams are doing. It's like very underwhelming over on the bottom half of the league. And we can't even forget Miami Heretics. Did they re-sign medals or not? That's what we're going to have to wait to find out. But we actually did make the hour mark. I don't even know how. We just do it every time. I'm actually probably just the best yapper in the business. So Insight ended up getting back on that roster. So they put together the Surge roster. They put together the Boston roster. G2, they threw Mamba on there already. Damn, they already did this shit automatically. I could like try to put together some rosters real quick. So it basically comes down to Cloud9 and Royal Ravens, and who knows if Mamba actually did sign it. It's all comes down to if he signed or not. if Mamba ended up on that like Vancouver team, that would have been a way better team. I'm not gonna lie. But no offense like to Lunars, but yeah, I don't know. You just did not convince me. So if we look at these teams, so we still got players like Johnny and Gio that aren't on the team yet. Who should I put in this spot? I mean, I kind of want to get Exceed and Prolute in there. I'm not gonna lie, I really do. I don't want to put Cobra. I don't want to put Cobra and Beans together because I feel they're both kind of like slower ARs. Someone was saying Cobra is an SMG. I swore he was an AR the whole time. I really want to see like Neum in there somewhere. Even like a Neum on this Cloud9 team like would do good. I don't know. I may actually just like do that in like a YouTube video instead. But yeah, guys, we pretty much hit the hour mark. It was kind of like a lackluster episode. I didn't really. There's some roster stuff that happened. I was gonna talk about like the Simp podcast, but yeah, just did not do it. So we're gonna do that in the next episode. I'm gonna listen to this one. He did one with Craze. He did one with Ghosty 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna put together some talking points from all those. I'm gonna bring them up in the next episode. And then after that, there's not really gonna be that much roster stuff. There may be some roster stuff, but I'm gonna do like a throwback episode. I'm gonna do some throwback episodes of some fun old stories in the Call of Duty scene that have happened. And I have one lined up, something to do with Karma from like back in the day. I think you guys are really going to enjoy these like throwback episodes where we go back and talk about some old stuff. So I'm going to be bringing that to the docket. Maybe 2 episodes a week of Burrito Talk. All depends how we're feeling. We're going to try to like do some fun stuff before the new season starts. But yeah, that's the hour mark. That's the hour mark. And that's all I got because I got to go to the gym. I have to go to the gym, go make some baked goods, and I'm off to my Thanksgiving dinner. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone in Canada, everyone in America. We'll see you next month on that one. It comes out right around the same time as Black Ops 6, too. That's crazy. So with that being said, guys, this has been Burrito. Have a good one. Bada boom, bada bye. We'll see you next time. Peace.